thing you should know about Sam also is that Sam attends Beechwood Schools, which is one of the highest funded districts in the state of Ohio, and he believes that every child should have the level of opportunity that he's been provided. Carly Schloderer is a sophomore. She has been doing a lot of work on education policy, and she's here to talk to you today also. Carly.
Hello, my name is Carly Schloder, and I am a sophomore at Edison High School in Milan, Ohio. I am here today to give you all a look into our current education system. The No Child Left Behind Act is theoretically a great plan. I would love to see a raise in the standards, to see better educators in our schools, and I would also love to see all the other benefits that come with this act, but it just cannot happen. There are too many problems with this act, and the biggest being funding. Ohio schools in particular are having a hard time meeting the standards set by the state because of funding cuts. My school had to cut $1.3 million from the budget for the 2004-2005 school year. That means sports, art and music classes, as well as many clubs will cut to balance the school's budget. This is a major problem in Ohio right now, so what does our government do? They implement this act and raise the standards. In the meantime, schools like mine are not only losing funds, but are also given new outrageous standards to meet. For a brief second, I would like to talk about these standards. I run into people all the time at Walmart or McDonald's who can't count money, give change, etc. For the most part, these students passed and were awarded their diploma. Obviously, the status quo is not satisfactory. I agree that the standards need to be raised, but not to the extent the NCLB Act raises them. For Ohio students, the new threat is the OGT, or Ohio Graduation Test. It will not only include harder problems, but also ask students to give short and long essays about how they found those problems. They even go as far as having us write an extended answer in English about how we solved the math problem. This raise in the standards is admirable, but there is no way we can go from not being able to make change at McDonald's to solving a trig problem and then describing in English and mathematical terms the process we followed to get that answer. If, of course, these standards are not met, there are consequences. First, your school will be reported as failing. At this time, any student from that failing school may transfer to a passing school, causing overcrowding. That passing school then needs to deal with the added number of students in addition to the students they already have, with fewer teachers because of budget cuts. Those teachers now must educate more students with the same amount of time and get all those students to pass the standardized test. If the students fail, the school fails, and the process begins all over again. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the domino effect, a hazard to education. All in all, it seems that the NCLB Act takes our school back through the Gilded Age, or big business era. For example, there are the good schools who could be seen as Rockefeller. These communities did all they could to make their schools great, and I'm sure it didn't hurt that they came from a wealthy area. Those schools are now very successful. Then you have the adequate schools, who could be represented by J.P. Morgan. He worked hard and did get some money, but was nowhere near the wealth of Rockefeller. Lastly, you have the inner city and rural area schools that could be represented by small businesses like a mom and pop shop. These men of different business backgrounds competed with one another, and in the end, only a few came out as winners. Most small businesses fell to corporations like Carnegie Steel and Standard Oil. This era led to business competition, just as the NCLB Act is leading to school competition. Let me remind you, our schools do not need more competition. If Congress really wishes to fix our education system, they must find a way to give equally great education to all children in America. Once these schools are given equal funding, the community they live in may then raise the level of education through taxes. The point is, no student should have to suffer just because they don't live in Ridgeville. We need to make education a priority because the youth that are that is in our education system right now will be the leaders of our future. Do you really want an uneducated generation in charge of your Social Security problems? In charge of your Medicare? In charge of the state of our nation? Of course you don't. You want a creative, hardworking, smart individual to run the country you live in. So get smart, start thinking, and educate the youth of our nation. Thank you.
Let's hear it for Sam and Carly.